You just found out you're pregnant. Congratulations, you're gonna do great. But now you're probably wondering, oh my God, what do I do? What are the next steps? Well, don't worry, we've got all the answers for you.
After extensive research and based on our own experience, we're gonna tell you in this video what you need to do when you hear that you're pregnant and what you need to do when you go into labor and after you give birth.
And this is for both moms and dads. We're going to tell you step by step what you're gonna do, how you can help your partner go through the next steps in her pregnancy, and hopefully we're gonna make it all easy for you. Hi, my name is Razan.
My name is Bassem.
Welcome to the last stop.
Now, first of all, after you find out that you are pregnant by doing a test at home and comes out positive, first of all, you need to call your family doctor. Your family doctor will get you an ultrasound and refer you to a gynecologist if you don't have one.
So I sent my husband away because this is going to be just girl talk between you and I. And again, I am talking from personal experience. So when you get referred to an ultrasound, usually in Canada, there are 2 ultrasounds that you do. The first one is called a dating ultrasound, and it happens between 11 to 14 weeks. And in this ultrasound, they just do measurements for the fetus, and they basically tell you if everything's okay or if it's not. The second ultrasound that you do is called the anatomic ultrasound, and that happens between 18 to 20 weeks of your pregnancy. Now in this ultrasound, they can tell you the gender of the baby, and again, they do take measurements of the fetus. And I have to tell you something that unfortunately my family doctor missed because he wasn't very aware of it. But when you do go to your second ultrasound, you need to ask your family doctor to give you a blood requisition, because after you do the ultrasound, they're going to send you to do a blood test, and that blood test is going to be based off the measurements that they took from the ultrasound. So they need to, and it needs to happen, I think it was between like 24 to 48 hours after you do the ultrasound. So this blood test basically tells you that hopefully everything is okay with your baby, or if it's not, but you know, if unfortunately something is wrong with your baby, they can catch it early on and hopefully they'll be able to fix it.
I'm back here. So as my wife said, you can get only 2 ultrasounds in Canada. But if the baby, God forbid, has any complications, you can get more ultrasounds so they can monitor your fetus growth. Now, depending on your situation, you can see the gynecologist every 2 to 4 weeks regularly.
And dads, this is for you. If you can, please go to the gynecologist appointments with your partners, because it is so important to her. And every time I went to my doctor's appointments, my husband was always there for me. And I would see dads like in the waiting room every single time we would go. So it is completely normal, and it is highly encouraged. And it is important to give her that support, that mental support. I can't even tell you how much it meant to me. And I'm 100% sure it's going to mean a lot to your partner as well. So now you're going into labor. This is exciting. So you go into the emergency room and they check you for your dilation. And if you're at a certain limit of how dilated you are, you're basically called, you're in active labor, and then they put you into a room. So once they put you in a room, they check on you regularly. They check your dilation and they check your blood pressure, and they also check the heartbeat of the fetus. And this is really, really, really important. I can't stress this enough. If you do want an epidural, you need to tell the doctors very early on that you want an epidural, because I know someone who said, oh, I don't want an epidural, and then when she started, you know, getting the really heavy contractions, she's like, I want an epidural. But unfortunately, it really just depends on the anesthesiologist's time, and it depends on if he or she has time to come and give you the epidural. So if you tell them early on, like, yes, I do want an epidural, the anesthesiologists will come to you when they can. And for me, for example, I told them I want it. She ended up coming 4 hours later to give me the epidural. She said, oh, I've just been so busy and I couldn't get to you. So if I had told her, I told them like early on, no, I don't want it, then I wouldn't have gotten it, because there's just one in the entire hospital. And for those of you who don't know, an epidural is basically, probably the scientist, my husband, will be better to explain this to you.
Now, epidural, it's a medication that will be given to you in a needle, and it provides anesthesia to the lower part of the body However, you can feel the pressure, so whenever there is a contraction, you can feel it, so you can push. And don't worry that you're not gonna see the needle going in because they're gonna ask you to leave the room.
All right, mamas, now it's time to push. So basically what happens when they see that you are ready to push, you're 10 centimeters dilated and it's time to push, a nurse stays with you the whole time. And of course your partner can be there too. So you're going to be, so you're basically in that room just pushing. And when the nurse sees that the baby's ready to come out, she quickly calls the doctor. The doctor comes in and it's time for your baby to be delivered. But unfortunately, if they find some sort of complications, and that's sadly what happened to me, I was pushing for a very sad 3 hours and my daughter just didn't want to come out. So I was sent to an emergency C-section and within like 5 minutes, she was out.
Now, of course, you're wondering how long you have to stay at the hospital. Now, it depends on your situation. If you have a natural birth, you have to stay in the hospital for 24 hours. Now, if it's your first baby, you have to be at least for 48 hours. It depends on your overall health. Now, if you have a C-section, you have to stay in the hospital for 72 hours. You might stay less, but it depends on the baby's situation, your health, and etc.
Now, if it's your first baby, the hospital is going to be of great help. The nurses are absolutely wonderful and so helpful, and they're going to teach you the following things. So the first one, they're going to teach you how to bathe your baby. Like the nurse actually bathed my daughter in front of us so that we can learn how to do it. The second thing they're going to teach you is how to swaddle your baby. Now, of course, some professionals don't recommend swaddling, but they teach it to you anyway, and it really just depends on you and what your preference is. They will also teach you how to breastfeed. I obviously had no idea what to do, so they were so patient with me and they taught me like several different ways on how I can breastfeed my daughter, which I definitely thought was so helpful. They will also give you recommendations for formula that you can use. Again, it depends on you and what your preference is, or if you want to do both. We did both with our daughter, so it's really up to you what you feel like doing. So during your stay, the nurses are going to be checking on you regularly. They'll probably come and see you like every 2 to 3 hours. They're going to be checking on your baby as well. So when we were there, the doctor came in and they checked my daughter's hearing, and they will also check her vitals, and they're going to take some blood samples to check her blood as well.
Now, for that, don't worry, you will have a place to sleep. There is a chair that it can turn into a bed in the same room with your partner. All right, when it's time to go, you need to have a car seat. They won't allow you to leave the hospital if you don't have one. And make sure that the car seat has the Canadian safety sticker on the car seat. If you don't have it, of course, they're not going to allow you to take out the baby. Before you leave, they're going to give you a health certificate. It's like the health card or HIP card, but it's just a certificate with the health card number on it. And after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you're gonna get the actual OHIP card or health card. They're gonna ask you also to find a pediatrician and take your baby on a regular basis to see the pediatrician.
One more amazing thing that they do as well, they're going to ask you if you want a home nurse to come and visit you at home to check on your health and your baby's health. Now, this is a huge shout out to Nancy. You are absolutely wonderful. My daughter is almost 1.5 years old. Until today, she visits me regularly. There's also a family home visitor who comes and visits you. And she basically comes and she teaches you different ways that you can feed your child. She recommends different toys that you can play. She sings songs and she just walks you through on like the developmental stages of your baby. And this is a huge shout out to Kathy. Thank you so much. She also comes, visits me and my daughter regularly. So before you leave, they're going to schedule you for an appointment to go back to the hospital to see another nurse 3 days after you give birth. And basically this appointment is just to check your overall health and your baby's overall health, and just to see your baby's eating habits. Now, in terms of child benefits, you can apply for child benefits right after you give birth, and do it ASAP because you won't receive money right away. It usually takes like around 2 to 3 weeks for you to receive the first payments. And if you'd like to know more about child benefits, we made a very detailed video about this. It's called Social Benefits in Canada. It's going to give you a lot of information on what it is and how much money you can receive from it. So be sure to check it out. I will put it in the description below for easy access. So before we go, I just want to give a very big shout out to all the incredible staff at the Windsor Met Hospital. I can't be more grateful to how wonderful you all were towards me and my husband and my baby. You guys were so professional and so on top of everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, guys. That's it for today. If you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel, click the like button, and leave a comment if you have any question.
Thank you and see you next time.